Good morning, everybody. All right. T, you there? You good? All right. Cool. Yep. All right. So, this is the pre-market prep and live stream. I'm Jeff with Simply Derivative. It is Wednesday, February 27th. We got about 20 minutes before the market opens. We're here in Los Angeles, so it's about 6:10 in the morning. And yeah, we're going to go through a few charts and get ready for the open. And then when that happens, we're going to go ahead and possibly look to put some trades on. Let's see here. What are we doing? Yep, give me 1 second. Okay. All right. Let's start with the big picture. Big picture, looking at the daily. Again, we are back up in these areas above 2800. We saw some selling pressure come in 2 days ago. You had that reversal. We tagged 2800, couldn't close above it. Or we closed 99.50, and now we've pulled back ever so slightly yesterday and going into today. We're going to see if we can hold this 2780 area. If this can hold in here, there's a good chance that we may put in another high and take this wick out and possibly go for these guys up in here above 2820. So again, we're still looking to buy, would be the primary direction, is along at this moment until we see, this level, potentially this level get violated in a decent manner to the downside. We're going to want to continue to look for longs. At this point, when the market drops and breaks through a couple demand levels, bigger demand levels, especially on the daily, it may be a change of trend. You get that with price action and candlesticks that confirm that out of an area that you would expect some selling pressure to come in. We have selling pressure up here. We see that. Why? Because the market has fallen from this area. It's back here again for a third, fourth time. And so if we can get that move down, this may be a short-term top up in here. But in the meantime, until that actually happens, let's see on the smaller time frames what we can do intraday. Let's see, overnight, we basically broke the lows from yesterday. Came down to 2780, back into these wicks, bounced, and now are trying to rally back up. Only down 450. Maybe a slow day today. Unfortunately, the volume's a little light right now. You have a few things going on. You got the Powell testimony with the Fed still talking to Congress, and then you got this whole shit show with Michael Cohen and his testimony. So we're gonna see if there's any drop off in participation today. So let's see here. This was yesterday's close. This 91 area up in here. That's something to pay attention to. The overnight high now is 27.93. You put in this double top yesterday above 2800 like we talked about up in here. This above this 2802 area. Couldn't even close above 2800 and proceeded to sell off. We've dropped about 20 points, and now we're going into possibly a snapback up a little bit higher before the market takes a leg lower. What we want to look for, at least initially, there's nothing really clean here in the overnight session for some real demand. I was looking to this right in here. Have that move away, that pushed the market up out of this base, but everything has been tested. And what do I mean tested? You had a wick come down and grab this in here. You had this hammer candle come down and touch in here. So nothing really fresh and clean. What may end up happening is, especially at the open, you'll see the market rally out of an area pretty close to where price is currently at. You'll see it rally up a little bit, maybe grab some people, and then dump lower. We have our eye on this 27.75 area on the 60-minute for a long opportunity. So based on the 5-minute, there's not much that you'd want to do really right now going into the open unless some sort of base forms out right here between this 85 and 87. If that's the case, then you can possibly hop on here and take that up. $27.91 would be first target up in here. You can see that on the 60-minute. Prices dropped, held, rallied up ever so slightly. We're talking 3 points here. Nothing crazy on the 60-minute. But then you got a nice move down, basically retesting this base that was created yesterday during the session. Tried to get back up there, couldn't. You have these two expanded range candles right in here. This red one here, this red one here. We retraced basically about half of this move before continuing to pull back. And so this would be a likely spot for a target if you're getting long here this morning in the overnight, like we just talked about, or looking possibly for some short opportunity during the session. We have about 15 minutes, so it's going to, we need to be patient here, is basically what I'm saying. Let's go back to the 15. Yeah, we only use 5, 15, 60, 240s, really. And this 93.25 area is looking interesting. Right up in here. Basically, when you have price have a pullback in either direction, if you're going long or if you're going short, this is just a good example right here that I want to highlight. Something to pay attention to, this price area that we're going to look at. Basically have the market sell off, bases out, retraces, and then continues its move down, another impulse move down. Is usually, in this case, since we're looking at the market pulling back, so we'd be looking at a short opportunity up here. When the market has its little retracement back up in a down move, usually right above or at that retracement, there's going to be an area that we would deem worthy of a short opportunity, in the fact that you basically have these wicks pointing up, meaning that there's still some selling pressure up in here. Same could be said for a down move. The difference with this versus this is the distance that you get from here to here. This move is much greater than this move in here. for this long opportunity. It's not really a long opportunity, I'm just giving you guys examples. But whenever the market has a pullback or a retracement in the direction of the bigger move, when the market finally gets back to that area, it'll like to take that high out, is what I'm trying to say, and then it may reverse. And so that's something to pay attention to. And that's why we pay attention to and look at overnight highs, overnight lows, previous day close, the open. These price points are areas that we can see this type of trading action. And when we see this type of trading action, we can wait for a candlestick to form and give us that signal to hop on board. So, and that's kind of what we're looking at here. We wouldn't really want to short anything until we got up above 90, 93.25. Long story short. This is an interesting area up in here. So we'll pay attention to that. Let's just highlight this, just so we can have that once the market does open. Now, like I said, we're looking here at this area on the overnight. If this thing can hold, we have about 12 minutes left, hold in here, I would suspect the market would rally up out of this and try to reclaim at least that 90 spot. It's only 4 points away. The volatility has not been great. The realized vol has not been great. Price movement has not been great over the past few days. We're not moving that much. And so it looks a little different than it had been in terms of the charts and price levels. We're talking about, 20 points here. That's taken a day and a half in the overnight session to do, whereas a month ago, we were doing 20 points in the first half hour of trading. And so you got to know the market environment that you're in, and we got to make sure that we understand that in order to minimize our risks and make sure we're on the right side of the trades. You guys have any questions or anything? Any markets you want to take a look at? We're just covering the ES right now. Take a look at our bigger pictures. Yeah, so the ES is hitting this little 5-minute right in here. You have a drop with this nice large candle with some follow through. Excuse me, prices tried to rally back up, failed, created a new low, put it a base, rallied back up multiple times, hasn't been able to take it out. But it's overnight trading. Overnight trading is usually weak, and if you can get enough momentum at the open, it will just go ahead and go right through it. Bigger picture, our 75 area that we were looking at for longs, back down here, about 10 points away. You got some wicks pointing up here at this 2800 level. Not great in terms of the environment and what we want to do. It's kind of choppy up in here. Again, when you look at the bigger picture, we've basically had a 20% rally since the lows of 23.1675 back in late December, and we've literally rallied all the way back up to that spot up at 2800, almost a 500-point rally on the S&P. Pretty decent move. 2800, let's call it 2316, 484. I mean, you're at almost a 21% rally. There's got to be some sort of pullback coming soon. That's kind of why I think you're seeing, there's two things why we're seeing this type of trading action. Number one, we're at an area where there was previous sellers. We can see that clearly. You have these moves away from this area above 2800, 2810, 2815. So that's number one. Number two is we've already had a 20% rally off the lows. And so, we've basically exhausted the buyers so far. Um, that whole adage of buying low, selling high, that's what you want to remember and stick to. Uh, in this case, it looks like we've just literally run out of buyers so far. Until we can get some more momentum, whether that's via news or headlines with Trump and China, or you know, kind of just wait and see mode until we can either break to the downside and get some momentum going, or if this thing wants to base out and hold in here, then there's a good chance that we'd take this out. But just goes back to patience. Need to wait until we can get a clear indication of what the market wants to do on a bigger time frame. If you look at the cash market, we are in overbought territory. Looking at SPX now, we are at overbought territory, but the markets can stay like that for quite some time. So that doesn't necessarily mean just sell or buy puts right now. We need to see some sort of really confirmation that the market wants to go down, and we're not getting that right now. What would that look like? That would look like a gap down. So that would be a gap down in the opposite direction that we had been going. A strong engulfing candle would be another indication. Um, for all you RSI traders out there, you'd want to see the market poke up, make a new high, and have the RSI diverge and start to make some lows, or at least start to fade in comparison to price. When price is making a new high, you'd want to see this thing coming down. And so we're not really seeing any of that at the moment. Again, it's just tight ranges, and really it looks like they're waiting for something to be a catalyst in either direction. Again, at this point, after a 20% rally, it's going to be the novices, the retail traders coming in and buying this market up here. Banks, institutions, hedge funds, professionals, they've already been long. Up here is where you get the novices to come in and push this up higher, but we haven't seen that yet. So again, we just have to be patient. All right. Market's about to open in 5 minutes. Let's see if we can hold in here. If that's the case, then I think we may get a little pop up. We are having a weekday today. Weekday defined as price, current market price, where we're at 27.85, being below previous close 91.50 in the open on this Globex candle for today's session of 88. So we are below both those prices. Technically, we're having a weekday, although the U.S. market has not opened, stock market hours. So we're going to see how that translates once the market does open. Welcome to everybody who's joining us. Hello. Absolutely, Taylor White, not a problem. That's why we do this. We want people to learn. Divine, hello. How are you? All right, guys. I'm going to grab some coffee real quick, and then we will get ready for the open here. Give me 1 second. Okay, guys, I'm back. We got 2 minutes before the market opens. Economic news coming out. Pending home sales, factory orders, durable goods. Crude oil at 7:30. That's what we got on the econ report front. We also have Powell. Excuse me. Powell in front of the House panel today, in front of Congress. And then you have that Michael Cohen situation. He's going to be talking as well. So we're going to see what type of volume we get today. It's a little light right now, 150,000 contracts on the ES. So we'll see what type of trading environment we get into. It's been a lot of chop. It's been a lot of slow movement. Not a lot of great trading these past couple days. So we'll see if that changes today. Okay, so prices come down into that area that we talked about. It's holding in this wick. We've got no closes below 85. Let's see if this thing wants to hang on and continue its push up higher, back up to this 91 area. If this area in here gets violated, then there's a good chance that we're just going to continue to move down. Break some more lows. Take a look at VIX real quick. Area to highlight on VIX. Oh. And we're off. Here we go. Let's get back down to the 5-minute. So we've gapped down on the cash markets a few points, down 4. This thing is actually moving a little quicker than I thought. Here, guys, this is the day session only charts that we're looking at. It's basically the cash version of the ES. It helps us identify gaps, helps us identify the first 5 and 15 minutes worth of trading. Those are important things that we pay attention to. And so a lot of the time when the market opens, we'll let the first 5 or 15 minutes form and then kind of see what the market, wants to do. And then at that point, we'll have a better indication of which direction they want to take this. After a gap down, it's not that big of a surprise to see the market rally right at the open. We have to wait and see how high they want to take it before, and if they want to push this thing down further. So let's just be patient in here. Back out of that. Up on this. So that little overnight level produced some resistance for this trading down here. Just got taken out, which also coincides with the open at 88. VWAP is at 86.25. So we're above that at the moment. Coming right back up in here. Other markets are holding and popping up a little bit as well. Nasdaq doing the same. Dow is doing the same, or the YM. The Russell is the one that's struggling, it looks like, the most to push up. Yeah, we don't use any indicators. Nothing really. Um, I mean, we'll look at RSI occasionally on bigger time frames, average volume sometimes. But other than that, we're basically just trading off a price action and location of price as well. So um, that's all we use. Moving averages, not so much. They lag in price, so for us, there's really no need for them. But what I was saying about the VIX is you basically saw this move up that we talked about late last year going into October before we saw this vol expansion. And we basically retraced back down to the origin of that move. And the VIX looks like it's trying to put in a bottom to rally up further. What we'd want to see today on the VIX, which would translate to the S&P, if the VIX can have a nice move up, that's going to put the market down. They're basically, most of the time, I'd say 98% of the time, there's an inverse correlation between the VIX and the S&P, or the markets in general. So when the VIX rallies, the markets are usually selling off. The markets are rallying, the VIX is usually selling off. So that's why we look at the VIX. That's how we use the VIX. We want to pay attention to it. First 5 minutes formed. So there we have it. Right in here. Let's highlight that. First 5 minutes of trading is important because it kind of sets the tone for the day, at least early morning, and what they want to do. Overall, you can see that a lot of, for example, yesterday is a perfect example, a lot of trading centers around that first 5 minutes worth of trading. You can see that we spent some time in that first 5 minutes, broke up above it, closed the gap, came back down, right back into that first 5 minutes, couldn't close below it, held, rallied up. Most of the day yesterday was spent in this range. Where were we? Basically at the top end of that first 5 minutes worth of trading. Held, rallied up again, came back down and closed in that same area. So that's why, I mean, that's just a general sense, a general brief description, if you will, of why we use the first 5 minutes, first 15 minutes as well. You can even go down to the 1 minute candle and see that a lot of trading throughout the day session revolves on that first minute of trading. And so these price points that a lot of people don't pay attention to are important because they can give us clues and give us setups that produce some nice results for us. So it's just one of those one of the levels, one of the I guess items that we look at while we're trading through the day. So what would we do here? Not much at the moment. We're going to see if this thing wants to continue to pop up. At this point, you'd want to wait for a pullback to get back down into this area, really where it broke out of at the open. And so that first 5 minutes is up to 89.50. We can do a little bit better in terms of price location. So being a little lower on that ladder below 87.75, I think would be a better option for us. But let's see if we can get a close out of this level. yesterday's action, you saw that for the first 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. Really, it wasn't until the first half hour was ending that we broke out of this range. We'll see if today is a similar situation. So we're coming right back up into this area. Thank you for my alert. Basically going to highlight this area in here. What we're looking for, guys, when we highlight areas, when we find areas, is we're looking for basically turning points and potential turning points. And how do we find those turning points? We're looking for some clues. What are some clues? Just right off the bat, a good way to find a level is to find an expanded range candle, an engulfing candle, whatever you want to call it, a big candle, in either direction. Why is that important? Why do we look for these things, these type of candles? Well, when price moves away from an area in a strong fashion, the next time price revisits that level, there's a good chance that, in this case, sellers would step in and take the market lower. Why? Well, that's what initially happened. Selling pressure came in, there was not enough buyers, and the market fell down in this example. Now, in this example, with the market opening at 85 and rallying up, you have a strong move back up. So next time price comes back down into this area, which would coincide, with the open of regular trading hours in the US, then this would be a possibility for a long as well. So you want to look for, we want to look for nice big moves away from levels. Strong move up, held, rallied up. When price gets back up here, you had a strong move down. So that's number one of what we're looking for, is a nice strong move away from a level and for it to retrace to that. And once it does, then we go in and we wait for some confirmation using our candlesticks. We can wait for a reversal candle. We can wait for a pattern to form. Either way, we're just checking boxes off and waiting for the signal to come in. And then once we get the signal, then we simply place the trade. We're filling the gap, basically closing the gap from the overnight or yesterday's close into this morning. This is what we were talking about, this 93 quarter area. Ideally, we'd like to see this get taken out, this overnight high. There we go. The Russell is finally caught up with the rest of the crew and is rallying up a little bit. Just turned positive. S&P just turned positive. We're going to see how long that lasts. Come on, price. Come on, buyers. Get up in here. Let's go. Let's go. Quick check at the cash. Candle body close of a gap fill, meaning we touched the underside of these candles after a gap down. We haven't closed the actual gap itself on the cash market yet. This is another a tool or piece of our analysis when we're deciding whether or not to put on trades. Specifically here in the ES, we want to look at the SPX and SPY as well to kind of get an indication of where price is at relative in the ES relative to cash markets. You'll see times where SPY and SPX, they'll have a gap fill close, or they'll hit a level and the S&P, the ES doesn't quite get there, or vice versa. And so it's always good to check the two because they're technically the same thing. One is just the cash market index, one is an ETF, and then one is the actual futures market. And so using those in conjunction with one another on an intraday time frame is almost like a qualifier for us. It enhances opportunities if we have one. It can. Okay, so we basically got back above 91.50. We're in these wicks right in here. Origin of this move down after a slight pullback. Having some trouble getting any more momentum to the upside. Look at volume. Volume definitely tapered to the upside, meaning we have very little trading at the very top. A little more, a little more, a little more, a little more. Yeah. Not a short signal yet. We don't buy breakouts. We don't buy highs. We don't. We don't look to buy the high. We would rather wait for this to get taken out, pull back. If there's an area that we like for a demand and there's profit margin to the upside, then we just simply wait for the level to get taken out and then reverse to our pullback area and then hop on board. Okay, again, we still have data coming out at 7 o'clock, so that's something that we have to keep in mind as well. My mic's cutting out. How about now? Thanks for letting me know. So back on the 15-minute, you can see, just like we saw on the 5-minute, some weakness coming in. This 5-minute is going to tell us a little bit more information about what they want to do. We were waiting for this 93 quarter to get taken out, but it basically came back up to the top of that overnight high, and it's having some trouble getting above that. Let's see if they want to paint this picture to look like it's going to pull back and then rally it up again. Back to the first 5 minutes. You can see price come back down into this area. If that's the case, then there's a long opportunity in this. Since we have not, I know it's still early in the session, but we have not tested this area since it formed. And so a retest back into this zone would be a long opportunity for us. Basically, the open, and for now, the low of the day is down in here, this 85.50 to 89.50. So somewhere in here would be an opportunity two ways to do it. You could go down to a smaller time frame, since technically this is a 4-point zone. I don't think you need to take that much risk. You can go down to a smaller time frame, like a 2-minute, and look for that actual area of demand in here, and that would be below 87.50. Just below these wicks in here. Price likes to overshoot, and so you know, we want to be a part of that in the opposite direction. In either direction. If it overshoots to the upside, we sell it. Overshoots to the downside, we buy it. Yeah, no problem, Thomas. Thanks for letting me know. Got a minute left on this candle for the 5-minute. Quick look over at the Nasdaq. Whoa, what's up with the matrix? Let's see here. Oh, that's a 2-minute. I was wondering why it looked so all over the place. Nasdaq looking very similar. Put in a base, overnight lows, and rallied up as the market opened. Basically got back up to its open area. Overshot that a little bit. Now we're pulling back. Come on, ES. Come back down in here. Basically have this area as the opportunity to get long on that retest of the open area. So 87 quarter, 87.50 down in there. So what does that look like if we wanted a place to trade? We have VWAP as well down in that area. So we like to see that. So 87 quarter, let's throw one on right underneath that VWAP price. Our stop would have to be below this area, 85.50, 74.75. That's not bad. That's fine. A couple ticks below the low of this area. We did have a close outside of the first 5 minutes to the upside. We filled the gap. Now if we can come back down here, grab us, and then rock it up. Our target would be, T1 would be about 90. T2 would be above 94, 93.50, above the high. And then T3 would be back up close to 2800. Take a look at this 60-minute. Noticing this in here. Basically right in there may present a problem for the longs. You had price drop, base out, rally up, couple attempts at 2800, taking that out. It could not hit this area, sold off. We hadn't had a close above 2800, produced a nice down move, about 20 points. And so next time we get back up in here, we may see some selling pressure come back in. Just this size of this base in here tells me that there could be some more selling in here. Just like if you take a look at a similar pattern down here, you saw prices come back down. Granted, it went to the very bottom of that area. It held and rallied up. And then if you take that next area, big base, prices came all the way back to it, but held and rallied up. So if that's kind of what we're looking for, prices will come back up in here somewhere before seeing some selling pressure come in. And you can go down to the smaller time frame. What you want to see is we're looking for confluence. We want to see a sell setup or a short setup on a high time frame, and we also would like to see it on a small time frame. That gives us that confluence that we're looking at the same thing, that we're looking at the market in a way that's neutral and objective, and basically putting a puzzle together is really what it is. If you have an area of selling pressure on a 60-minute, you can definitely find an area of selling pressure on a smaller time frame. And if you can find those two and they coincide together, that's going to increase your odds of having a successful trade, much more so than if you were just trading off a 5-minute, finding a level in either direction and taking it off of that. So price is coming back down. See if we can get filled here for our long opportunity. Nasdaq has pulled back as well, testing its open. Russell and the Dow are still up slightly from where they were at, so we'll see. Well, we don't stream every day, Thomas. We actually have a trading room um, with other traders and members that we run 3 days a week, and so the stream for us is just a way to um, build a community, reach out to the community, get other people involved that haven't seen what we do or how we do it. And yeah, that's really what we use the stream for. It's basically a preview of what we do um, with our traders um, 3 days a week in our trading room. For the most part, to answer your second question, we just trade the ES is what we focus on mainly. But we'll take opportunities and we'll look at other markets like NQ, crude oil, gold, bond futures. But primarily we focus on the S&P. If there was a second place, I would say the Nasdaq. Nasdaq is a nice market to trade too. It's just a little more volatile. A lot more volatile. And that's for futures trading. And then we'll take the same method and we'll look at, here we go. See if they're going to hold this open area. We will trade equity index options as well, using our same method of looking for opportunities. And so SPY, SPX, Qs, IWM, those type of products. But what we focus on mainly during our intraday trading session is the S&P futures. All right. So we're in 87.25. VWAP, a couple ticks above us. Basically, we are retesting the low or the open on the day off of this 5-minute, off of this 15-minute. The hourly, it's coming back down into this basing area that really started to move once US opened. So we're going to see if this wants to hold. Nasdaq actually took out this level. Dow and Russell are still holding up like the S&P. So we shall see what wants to win the day here. You see some buyers step in here. Got data coming out here in 2 minutes. That may get the market moving a little bit here. What news do we have? Let's see here. Let's get a refresh on this. We got Powell. The Fed's starting to talk here. Pending home sales, factory orders, durable goods. Coming out here at 7 o'clock. Should get some type of movement off of this. Potentially. Okay, 7 o'clock. Where's our news at? Not exactly liking the trading action down here. But once we put on a trade, we don't touch it, so it is what it is. Here we go. Oh, this is looking better now. Come on up. Like I said, T1 is 90 quarter. T2 would be above 93.50, above the high. And then a T3 would be close to 2800. Call it 27.98. Pending home sales rise 4.4%, 4.6% month over month. Okay. Guess it would be some good news on the economic news front here. What else we got? Factory orders looks like they're positive too. All right. Well, now we're getting some movement. Yeah, guys, we're going to be going till about 7:30 with the live stream here today. Yep. Let's see if we can get a little winning trade here for our stream session. It's looking like they want to push it down. Got a little mo to the upside, but yeah, it looks like they want to take it down. Well, this is going to get executed. All right. Let's trade one on the day. Trade one. Long opportunity at the open area is a setup that we take. Just didn't work out today. There's a chance that this overnight area still can hold. The fact that Nasdaq is breaking down below that and the other markets look like they're following wouldn't lend for us to get back in here. We'd have to wait until we see some sort of, again, confirmation, and that would be on the smaller time frame, looking at a candlestick, waiting for the signal really to hop back in. Right now, we're not getting any of that. So let's just see, be patient. Okay, this candle closed. Let's see here. Still nothing. We didn't get a close below that 85.50, so that is somewhat telling, at least short term. So let's say we, on this next 5-minute candle right in here, can stay above 85.50, get a close above that, then that may be that lower time frame signal that we're looking for to get long again. But we're going to need to wait and see. So we got about 5 minutes on that. Russell is pulling back and taking its lows out, following the Nasdaq. At this point, yeah, it doesn't look like the longs have enough buying power to come in and take this thing back up at the moment. That's it for the econ news. You have those two testimonies that are going on as well right now, Cohen and Powell. Don't suspect those to move the markets. So as far as economic reports, we're all done for today. Crude oil comes out at 7:30. Check to cash. Cash, it took out its low too. This is going to tell us a little bit more information. If we get a close below that first 15-minute area, we have this gap below at 75 that has not been filled yet. That may be a possibility today too. This area in here that hasn't been touched at that 80. Well, we just have to wait and see. Got a gap above us, you got a gap below us. We're stuck in the middle. No need to force anything, no need to press. We're just waiting. We're going to be patient. VIX is trying to poke its head up, hitting its overnight high. Okay, 1 minute. Let's see what this thing wants to do. Was hoping to see that overnight high taken out. We couldn't get up there. Oh, okay. What? There we go. That's some movement for you. Guess people are paying attention to this. We just tagged yesterday's low of 83.25. Bounced off of that. Let's go to daily real quick. Big picture. I know there's a lot of lines on here, guys. Sorry about that. Trying to clean this up. We got to close on 85.50. That was not helpful. Oh, we got to close above it. We'll follow through. Oh, China news. Lighthizer says more China purchases alone, not enough for deal. Okay, well, clearly the market doesn't like that. Back to what here? This gap fill area. Gap origin area, if you will. Right there. Yep. Let's see if it wants to fill this gap here. VIX is starting to pop its head up. SPX, take a look. What just happened? We still streaming? Did I lose internet? You guys there? Huh. YouTube dashboard crashed. Okay, now my Thinkorswim crashed. What is going on here? What are they doing to the markets? What are they doing to my computer? What is happening? Oh, that's really weird. Sorry about that, guys. We are getting this gap fill close right here. Potentially. Come on down. Little area underneath that. Okay, that's really weird why that happened. I don't know. You said I'm still streaming, so alright. We're still good. Cool. Alrighty. Man, that short was it. We wanted to see it get up a little bit higher. Couldn't even do that. $76. What did we just hit? Little area right in here. Okay. Go down to a super small time frame. Take a look and see what kind of trading is going on down here. We have a clear level of selling right in here. Scroll to the left. What is this? This is overnight trading in here. Lots of overnight trading. You'd think we'd come back down below this candle body. Back into these wicks, which would be 73.50. Are they serious about taking this up right now, or are they just trying to trap some people? Basically retesting the bottom of the Globex low, or the overnight low at 80.50. Can't get above that. we go. It's trying to climb. Got a minute left on this candle in this 5 minute. Got to dump off for about 10 points from there. Nice little move out of that first 5 minutes worth of trading, that 85.50. Got low on that. We're trying to settle in and base out here. Game plan for this would be, depending on where this closed, this would be a long opportunity. Take it back up to that first 5 minute area. It's only a few points away at this point. Down 10 on the ES. Okay. See if we can get another trade-off before we end here in 10 minutes. You guys have any questions, thoughts, markets you want to look at? Okay, seeing some weakness coming in. You got two expanded range candles on this 2 minute. Basically retesting that midpoint of those two candles. And you're seeing some weakness come back in. Take a look at the volume. Definitely tapered. Tapers off like that can be indicative of a high or a low. You saw that at the top, tapered out. Seeing that on the lows too. But we're getting that 2 minute bearish candle. It looks like we want to get back down lower. I don't know what's up with YouTube. I don't know why we're having some trouble with it. Huh. All right. What's more interesting, Powell or Cohen? Powell or Cohen? What do we care about more? Not looking good for the logs here. This past candle, we got to close lower than the previous two. The other markets are continuing to push back, pull back. I think the ES is going to follow as well. What are you guys watching? What is there to watch? We doing Cohen? We got Trump. They're talking about China at the same time. I swear they do this all on purpose. Throw out as much crap as possible all at once. And everybody's basically spread thin and distracted. Alright, well, we'll see what happens at 7:30, but it's not looking like we are going to get another trade-off here. Back down to this 2-minute. Yeah, yeah. Before we close down the stream. Mm-hmm. Come on, push us down. There you go. Fresh lows. think we're going to continue to see this push down a little bit. Take a look here. 15-minute real quick on this .D. So basically the day session only charts. Let's see where we're at. Yep, back down into here. Closing that gap. Okay, so we're closing this gap in here. The origin of the move really happened down here. Down at 68, 68.50. But there's a chance, since we've already sold off, that this will be an area where we can hold and bounce up out of. Take a look here. See how we finish this candle. We got a minute. Tag 75 to the dot. Do we have tapering? Not quite. You have that big volume node right there compared to the other tick levels. We'll see though. I don't know why my Thinkorswim crashed. I'm gonna have to restart after this. I don't know what's going on. Got a hammer candle on that 5-minute. Touch the bottom of that wick? No. 73.50 still has not been hit. Be a little hesitant to come in here and buy down in here. Why are they showing Powell? I'd rather see Cohen. We got Cohen or Powell? What you guys want? Alright guys, we're going to have to end the stream here. It's 7:30. Not getting another signal yet for us to hop on board. We'll just have to see what we can do next time we stream. That gap fill up there was the spot to be. We wanted to see it get up a little bit higher. We didn't see that. You saw the market fall off. We're not going to chase it. So we took our opportunity as a long. Basically, within this first 5 minutes worth of trading, we saw the market fill that gap, come back down. We were anticipating that it was going to bounce. We saw a little movement up overnight. We had some positive economic data come out, and like the area that we were getting long at, basically a retest of the open, and you can see they just smashed right through that. So it is what it is. Just another opportunity. You have oil moving now. Oil report just came out. My Thinkorswim crashed. We'll have to take a look at that after. But yeah, thank you guys for joining us. We appreciate you coming by and trading alongside of us. If you have any questions, concerns, feel free to shoot us an email. We're going to be doing this again probably on Friday, and see if we can have some better luck on Friday. Get a nice opportunity going during the stream, and yeah, go from there. All right, guys. Thanks again. Be sure to check us out at simplyderivative.com. Like I said earlier in the broadcast, our trading room is open. There are spots available if you guys want to join us. and trade alongside of us 3 days a week here, just like we did on the live stream. We grab the pre-market, we analyze, we go over, we find high quality setups based on price action, technical analysis, and follow a plan. And our trading is very rule based and mechanical. And if you guys are looking for a better way to understand the markets and read the markets and the charts, then definitely check us out. Um, Again, we're going to do this on Friday most likely, and give you guys another little preview of what we do on a daily basis. So thanks again. Hope you guys have a great day, and we will see you next time. Take care.